All right, thank you for tuning in the channel today. One of the things we're going to discuss today is the forward arms on the front end of the Canam, and then also the rear adjustable arms. There's lots of arms on the market. Some of the things you're going to want to think about is if you want to have a sway bar. If you want to keep your front sway bar, your top heavy, you like that less roll, you do a little more highway speeds, or if you're more off-road, because if you're doing a lot of off-road and you're not doing a lot of high-speed stuff, you really don't want the sway bar, you want more articulation. So you need to make that decision on your arms. Some arms offer the sway bar option where you can put your factory sway bar on, some do not, so need to pay attention to that. The other thing that you're going to look into is, I'm sure you've heard of steering stops, okay? When you put the forward arms on, one of the things that you have to know or be thinking about is you're going to lose some turning radius, okay? I ordered the Super ATV arms, and I run my sway bar on the front end. It's one of the reasons I chose them. I also chose them because they're only 2 inches forward. Now, if you're going to want to run bigger than a 35-inch tire and go like 37s, 38s, you're probably going to have to get a little bit more forward arms if you're not doing a lot of lift on top of that, okay? But for me, I'm running 2-inch forward, running the 35 bogger tires. No problems clearing them. They work great. I've got the S3 springs, so that may have given me an inch on the cab model. It's not a lot of lift. They really don't even advertise lift on the S3 springs. So I went with a 2-inch, and one of the reasons is you're going to have the steering stops. And when you get those steering stops, they're almost 5/8. They're 0.625 in width, and they're little brass stops, and you put those in on your steering rack on both sides. So you lose a pretty significant amount of steering, okay? Now, if you're not using four-wheel drive and you don't turn it all the way, then it's not really an issue. The problem is if you do a full steer and you're in four-wheel drive and you've had some alcohol, whatever, and you gas it, it's going to break the axle, okay? It's because you're putting that CV joint at too much of an angle. So what I did that worked for me, I took those 0.625s and I cut them down to 0.250. So from 5/8 to a quarter. And I still installed them. I haven't had any issues. I do some turning here and there in four-wheel drive. I do know that I don't turn it to the max and just romp on it, okay? If you're that guy, you probably need to put the 5/8 ones in there. But I've had zero issues on mine doing it that way. And I've got it in a bind here and there and not had any real issues. So up to you on that. So when you get those little steering stops, you can cut them down. And let's get out and we'll take a look at these arms real quick. So if you look up in here, this boot comes off right here, and that's where your steering stops are going to screw in right in here up at the top, and it's going to stop the steering from getting too much of an angle right here on your CV. So like I said, these are the Super ATVs. You can see I've got my factory sway bar, and I'm running the 35-inch boggers. And these are the S3 springs. You can order those in whatever powder coat you want. The good thing that I like about these, when you get 35s and having the adjustable arms, if you look at my side profile, you know, if you just put S3 springs on there, you're going to have a lot of toe on that tire. And so I do like that these are fully adjustable. You can adjust them right here. And anyway, I did do the Super ATV tie rods also, because when you get up and you get longer, they'll get weaker, and those factory tie rods are pretty thin. So I do recommend upgrading those tie rods. So anyway, that's that. Got the arms put on here. On the back, when you come around the back, same thing here. Just put the S3 springs in it. But when I did, and I had the stock upper arms, my tires were way off on the outside, and it looked pretty bad. So I also ordered the rear S3 upper arms, and you can see that these are both adjustable up here. And so you can adjust that in and out and get those straightened back up, where you get a nice side profile look like that. So anyway, I just had a lot of people asking a lot of questions on the channel about the arms, which arms, why did I buy those arms? There's tons of them out there. There's some really good arms that somebody makes. I mean, you can run 37s, 38s stock. So, you know, it just depends on what you're looking for, but just wanted to go over the arms. Thank you for tuning in the channel. We'll catch you on the next video.